Deep within the Arctic's frosty embrace, nestled amidst icebergs and glaciers, resided Torta the turtle. Unlike his brethren, who sought sunnier shores, Torta had chosen to make his home here. One day, as he basked in the pale sunlight filtering through the ice, he noticed something peculiar. A weathered parchment lay tucked beneath a melting glacier. As he approached, curiosity sparked in his ancient eyes. Could this be a lost treasure map leading to riches beyond his wildest dreams? The answer was etched onto the map's brittle surface. A cryptic trail leading to a sunken chest of gold buried deep beneath the ocean's icy waves. With a heart full of intrigue, Torta decided to embark on a thrilling underwater expedition to uncover the secrets held within. But he knew he couldn't do it alone. He needed a partner, someone who wouldn't flinch in the face of danger, someone who would match his wit and bravery. And there was only one penguin he could think of, his impulsive yet loyal friend, Blizzy. As Torta waddled towards Blizzy's abode, his mind raced with possibilities. What if the treasure wasn't just any gold? What if it held some mystical power or untold stories of the Arctic's past? Anticipation thrummed within him like the beating of a drum. Blizzy, ever the adventurer, was instantly fired up at the prospect of exploring an underwater wreck. Visions of riches and fame danced in his beady eyes. "I can't believe we're about to dive into the unknown," he exclaimed, adjusting his goggles with a determined flap of his flipper. "Who knows what wonders, and maybe even some mystical creatures we'll encounter down there." His enthusiasm knew no bounds as he imagined, sharing tales of their underwater escapade with fellow penguins, his status elevated to legendary levels. Their sled, usually a trusty mode of transportation across the frosty terrain, was now transformed into a clunky submarine christened the Frosty Flip, with scavenged parts and rigged periscopes. It was hardly a vessel that inspired confidence. However, with Blizzy and Torta at the helm, it was bound to become the most infamous sub in the Arctic. As they plunged into the dark, swirling depths, the icy water enveloping them, a sense of foreboding settled over them. Eerie silence pressed against their ears, broken only by the eerie glow of bioluminescent fish darting around them. Every shadow seemed to writhe with unseen menace, making the familiar ocean floor look alien and menacing. The descent continued until the pressure of the water was almost unbearable. Just when their spirits were at their lowest, a playful narwhal rammed their sub, sending Blizzy into a flapping panic. "We're doomed! Doomed!" he screeched as the Frosty Flip spun wildly out of control. Torta, however, remained unfazed. With years of navigating icy waters, he knew exactly what to do. Taking a deep breath, he steadied himself and made the necessary adjustments to steer the sub away from harm. The Frosty Flip lurched back on course, leaving the bewildered narwhal watching them with a tilted head. "See? Nothing to worry about," Torta said calmly, regaining control of the situation. But Blizzy was far from reassured. The near accident had shaken him to his core. As they ventured deeper into the abyss, another peril awaited. A dense school of jellyfish loomed before them, their stinging tendrils forming a virtual barrier. "Oh, barnacles," Blizzy cried, his bravado evaporating. "What are we gonna do? It's a jellyfish graveyard in here." Faced with this daunting challenge, Blizzy grabbed a makeshift paddle, his heart pounding against his ribs. Adrenaline surged through his veins, urging him to action. With a determined squawk, he started hacking wildly at the jellyfish, creating a temporary path through the stinging mass. Every strike echoed in the silent, watery tomb, each swing bringing them closer to freedom. "Quick, turn the sub sideways," Blizzy shouted, his voice strained with effort. "That will help us squeeze through this tight spot." Torta, ever the strategist, followed Blizzy's instructions without hesitation. Guiding the Frosty Flip, he maneuvered it as best as he could, ensuring they didn't touch the jellyfish with the paddle. Still slashing frantically, They inched forward. Finally, they saw the light of the crevice ahead. With one last burst of energy, they shot through the opening and into the dimly lit expanse beyond. The frosty flip, battered but afloat, emerged from the jellyfish labyrinth. Deeper still, the ocean floor gave way to a labyrinth of corals. And there in the distance, they spotted their target, a sunken wreck, shrouded in mystery. As they approached, the silhouette of a massive walrus guarding the entrance materialized before them. Its tusks gleamed like polished ivory, and its whiskers twitched menacingly. Suddenly, the walrus charged, bellowing a thunderous roar that echoed through the water. "Prepare to defend ourselves," Torta instructed, his voice firm but calm. In the face of danger, he knew they had to stay united. As the walrus loomed closer, its massive form blocking the path to the wreck, Blizzy dove under a nearby coral arch, narrowly escaping the creature's snapping jaws. "Quick, Torta, follow me," he cried, hoping to lead the walrus away from the fragile sub. With a mighty splash, Blizzy disappeared into the coral labyrinth. Torta, his heart pounding in his chest, adjusted the rudder, guiding the frosty flip to follow Blizzy's erratic path. Keeping a sharp lookout, he helped them dodge giant clams and schools of fish, all while keeping the sub stable and on course. Their oxygen supply dwindling, the urgency to reach the sunken wreck intensified. Seizing the moment, Blizzy maneuvered the frosty flip near the wreck, and they began the treacherous task of anchoring it against the strong current. "Got it!" he exclaimed, relief washing over him as he secured the lines. Now, all they had to do was pry open the chest. With the sub steady, Blizzy and Torta focused their efforts on the treasure chest. Working together, they managed to wedge the lid open, revealing a dazzling sight. Gleaming gold coins spilled out, catching the faint light, filtering through the murky water. "We did it, Torta," Blizzy exclaimed, his voice trembling with excitement and exhaustion. "We found the treasure." The weight of their accomplishment settled upon them, a mix of elation and relief. But their victory was short-lived. A dark shadow loomed over them, blocking the sunlight and sending a chill down their spines. Emerging from the gloom was Victor Icefang Volkov, the cunning Siberian wolf, his eyes gleaming with avarice. His sub, the Fang, glistened menacingly, a stark contrast to the dilapidated, frosty flip. Well, what do we have here?" Icefang snarled, a predatory grin spreading across his face. "Looks like someone stumbled upon my treasure first." He circled them, his gaze fixed on the treasure chest. "Hand it over and maybe I'll show you a quick death." Blizzy, never one to back down from a challenge, puffed out his chest, trying to appear fearless. "Not a chance, Icefang. This treasure is ours, and besides, we found it first." Icefang's grin widened, revealing a flash of sharp teeth. "So be it," he said, his voice dripping with menace. "If you won't hand it over willingly, then I'll take it by force." With a sudden burst of speed, he lunged towards the chest, his claws extended. In a moment of inspiration, Blizzy grabbed a handful of snow and launched a flurry of snowballs at Icefang. Startled by the unexpected attack, Icefang swerved to avoid being hit, giving Torta the opportunity to maneuver the frosty flip through a nearby kelp forest. As Icefang pursued them, becoming entangled in the thick kelp, Torta skillfully guided the sub through the labyrinthine underwater foliage, confusing the wolf and giving Blizzy time to reload his snowballs. Finally, as the playful sunlight streamed through the ice above, Blizzy and Torta surfaced. The frosty flip, battered and bruised, bobbed gently on the waves. With wobbly flippers, they unloaded the treasure chest, revealing glittering stacks of gold coins. Victor Icefang Volkov watched them from a distance, his expression unreadable. A grudging respect flickered in his eyes as he realized the depth of their cunning. With a slight nod, he acknowledged their victory and disappeared into the murky depths, leaving Blizzy and Torta to celebrate their triumph under the shimmering aurora borealis. Their laughter echoed across the frosty expanse as they reveled in their hard-earned glory. The narrator's voice rang out. Will Icefang return? Who knows? But one thing's for sure. The Arctic holds many more adventures for Blizzy and Torta, so don't miss a single second of their escapades. Subscribe now for more thrilling tailies from the frozen frontier.